Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful and fabulous. Thanks so much for joining me. I am super excited to share some projects with you today. We're going full-blown and creating 3 card projects and also creating a fun box to hold those Valentines. We're using a brand new collection over at Photoplay. This is the Cupid's Sweetheart Cafe collection kit. It has 12 double-sided sheets of pattern paper that are just beautiful. It's going to be very hard picking a pattern, but the good thing is there's 2 of each pattern, which is great. On the reverse side of the collection kit, you can see the fabulous sticker sheet. It's a 12 by 12 sticker sheet. It even has a border to create quick cards, but also fun for scrapbooking. And there is a few items that are meant to coordinate with this collection kit. We have the Cupid's Sweetheart Cafe stamp set. Perfect little box of chocolate in a heart shape, a lot of fun sentiments, and there is a coordinating die set that will die cut out the images in this stamp set. There's also a Cupid Sweetheart Cafe stencil. This is a large 6x9 stencil, so it's great for so many different size cards. 5x7s, slimline, mini slimline, A2s, mini note cards. I love stencils this size. Today we're going to be creating 3 cards. We're using the cut-aparts in our collection kit, and we're also going to be creating a card box. We're going to be using a card box. This is from Photoplay's Makers Series. This is a fabulous card box. You would not believe how easy this is to make. I would say 5 steps and you're done, but of course you want to decorate it, and that's what takes the longest. It takes longer to decorate the box than it does to make it, which is fabulous. Included in this card box are 3 blank A2 size card bases and A2 size envelopes. So that's what we're going to do, create 3 cards and create a box in today's video. So we're going to start by looking at our card box. As I mentioned, this is very easy to get put together. Let's take it out of the package. And here's our envelopes. They're quality A2 size envelopes. They're the lick and stick. I love that they include the envelopes. These are your pre-scored card bases. And then you also have a card box. The instructions are in the inside of your kit, and they're very easy to follow along. This happens to have 9 steps, and there's also some templates. Okay, this is your card box. It's all one piece, and that's what I mean when I say it's very easy to put together. Very easy. Kid-friendly, I should say. Now, on the very bottom of the inside of the package, there is 3 templates. I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors, and we're going to cut these out. I went ahead and trimmed all of my templates just to make things easier. I did some self-notes on them. This here is the box side panel, and I need 2 of these, and I need a left and a right. So I put flip on here. So I'm going to use template this way, flip it around, and use the template this way. And it's going to give me a left and a right to the side of my box. I also put an arrow on here. This just tells me that my pattern needs to go up and down. So all my pattern goes the same way. Since we're using pattern paper, sometimes the arrows help me. Okay, I did the same thing to our lid side panels. So I'll use this on pattern paper this way. I'll flip it around and I'll use it on this way on pattern paper. For our lid box, the very front of it, we have this beautiful bracket. You don't need a width on here. You just need the bracket for your pattern paper. I only need 1 of these, and you want to make sure that your pattern paper is going vertical too. Okay? So I'm going to put these off to the side, and then we are going to pick out some pattern paper for our box. For our Valentine box, I love the quilt pattern, so we're going to use this on our Valentine box. I'm going to go ahead and put these off to the side. This is going to be 4.5 inches wide by 12. And we may have to trim the top a little bit, but that's okay. So this is 4.5 inches wide by, well, I'm going to trim the label off the bottom here. And this will be 12 inches. Okay, so we have this. Now what we need to do is create our flap. So I'm going to take that same pattern paper, and I'm going to trim it at 4.5 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it around, and then I'm going to trim at 5 inches. So far we have a 12 by 4.5 inch panel. We have a 4.5 inch by 5 inch panel. And then what we're going to need to do is take our leftover, and this is where our templates come in. This template is going to be on this one. Now with this template here, what we're going to do is create the bottom of our box. So I'm going to flip it around, and I am going to add some adhesive at the arches of the bracket here. Kind of looks like the mustache area of our, and then I'm going to tack this down to our pattern paper. If you want to use a white pen for this, you can. Sometimes it's easier to see, or even a white pencil. We're just going to go around our template. I'm going to remove my template. You can see our bracket lines, and then I'm going to trim away just above my pencil or pen. And then we have our bracket piece. Now this bracket piece we trimmed down a little bit off the end. You see here, we're going to bring in our paper trimmer, and this needs to measure from the very top of our bracket. This needs to measure 4.5 inches. So I'm going to slide this down to the 4.5 inch mark, and then we're going to trim off the excess. Okay, so our bracket panel is good to go. I'm going to put away this template. So using one 12 by 12 sheet, we can decorate the front of our box. And it makes it nice because we have the quilted pattern. And then we're going to bring in our box. Your box will come like this. And I'm going to open it up. When you open it up, you want this towards the bottom, okay? And what I always like to do is there's score lines everywhere on here. What I like to do is just fold in these score lines. We're going in with all of them, like so, and then I'll flatten it back out. And then, starting at the top, you want to fold in all these score lines, and when you do this, you just want to fold them towards you, basically. So after we have all of our score lines reinforced, what I'm going to do is take this pattern paper. This is our longest one, and you see the curve on here. I want the curve on this pattern paper. So I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive behind the back of my pattern paper. I'm going to tack this down inside the score lines. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this around, and you can see this little curve peeking out. This is where our pencil comes in once more. I'm going to draw around the curve, and then I'm going to remove my paper. Since we lightly tacked it down, it's really easy to remove. We're going to trim around our pencil mark just inside. And then we have that same dip that we have for our card box. Now all of our trimming for our pattern paper is completely done. We're going to put this to the side, and since our score lines are reinforced, are you ready to see how easy this is to create? Now you're going to need some kind of adhesive to keep this closed. I suggest a strong tape, but you don't have to. You can use glue, you can use your tape runner, whatever adhesive you prefer. Now this is the archway here on the we'll call this the bottom of our box. This is the top of our box. What we're going to do is fold in these two flaps. I'm going to use some double-sided tape, and I'm going to flip both of these flaps in, and we're going to add adhesive to this one and this one. So we have adhesive on this flap and this flap. I haven't removed the release paper just yet. Now I'm going to fold these in, and then we're going to add some adhesive here and here. And then we're going to flip this flap into and do the same. We'll put some adhesive. So far we have adhesive here and here, and then we're going to fold these flaps in, and we're going to put some adhesive here also. So we have adhesive in the mid section on all of these flaps. So here and here, here and here, and here and here. So the top and the bottom do not have any adhesive. Before we remove the release paper, I'm going to decorate my card box first. I just think it's easier to decorate it when it's flat on my surface. We're going to take, this is actually going to be right side up, so we're going to take our longest 12-inch pattern paper. We're going to flip it around, and I'm going to use my tape runner, and I'm going to add adhesive. If you want to use glue here, you can. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to add this inside the score lines all along the midsection, like so. Now, since we have these score lines, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce these score lines. If you want to use a bone folder at this point to keep those corners a little more sharp, you can. So just reinforce those score lines. Makes it really easy. Okay? So after we have this panel adhered, we need our top flap, and that's where our bracket edge comes in handy. I'm going to flip this around. We're going to add some adhesive behind here. I'm going to line it up, I'm going to line it up just inside the score line. This way I have a little bit of a border here. Okay. Now, you see there's just a little bit of a gap here, and that's good because this is the fold of our box, and you don't want to obstruct that score line. And we're going to turn this over, and our score line here, we're just going to flip this over and reinforce the score line. Now, if you don't want the white border, you can just make this a little bit longer. You remember we trimmed this to 4.5 inches. You would go for maybe add an 1/8 of an inch, I would say. Now we have our side panels. Now I have this border going along the front of my card, and I want it to continue around the side. So I need to take about 1/8 of an inch off of my side panel lid piece. So let's bring in a paper trimmer. And what we're going to do is take about 1/8 of an inch off this side here. Okay, so I just took a little bit off that edge. Now I'm going to flip this around, put some adhesive behind here, and we're going to follow along that curve. I'm going to flip this around, we're going to add some adhesive, and I'm not going up to that fold line, but I'm following along, leaving a little bit of a border here. Now, since I'm adding that border, you don't have to add the border like I am. You could just go all the way up with it. But if you flip it around, you can see some of the pattern paper showing. I'm just going to use my scissors and trim that away. We're going to add our side panels last once our box is put together. Now to put the box together, are you ready? It's going to be so easy. I'm going to use my craft pick, and we'll start with the very first section from this edge. We're going to remove the release paper here off of both of them. I like to use tape because it's instant. With glue, it has to wait a little while. Now what I'm going to do, I removed the release paper. Okay, I'm going to kind of make sure that these are going straight up. I'm going to flip this straight up, and then I'm going to fold this panel so it lines up on the very edge of this side, and then I'm going to press down really good. I'm going to do the same to this side. We're lining this up at the very edge here, and then we're going to press down. like so. This is what we got so far. Okay, now we're going to remove the release paper off of these. Pretty easy so far. This is going to go on the inside of this. So we're going to fold this up like so. Okay, fold it up. You see the edge here? We're going to line these up. We're just going to basically close it. Some adhesive will show on here, but that's okay. You see it on the other side? Just line this edge up with your score line on here. Tack it down. I like to put my hand in the box and press it really good so I know it's not going anywhere. So there is the box portion. So easy to put together, huh? Now I'm going to take our final flaps that we put adhesive on. I'm going to remove the release paper here. And then these, we're going to take the top of our lid and we're going to line this edge up with this edge here, like this. Line it up, fold it over, and these corners are going to match down here. You see how it just tacks on the inside? Let me show you. You're going to fold this in, line this up on the score line here, fold it over, so where these just match here on the sides. Then you're going to press down really good. If you want to turn it on its side, use your bone folder and go over that area. You can do that also. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Lastly, I'm going to turn it on its side. We have a little adhesive shown here, but that's okay. We're going to take our side panels and we're going to go ahead and add adhesive behind here. I'm going to make sure I'm getting this top corners, and then we're going to, the top corners are going to have the most stress on them. So really load that up. And then I'm going to line this up on the top corner and follow along the side here. I have a little overhanging, I mismeasured, so what we're going to do is take the scissors and just trim away the excess, like so. Do the same thing to this side. We're going to flip over our side panel. We're going to have lots of adhesive on the very top. And we have a really cute Valentine box. Is that not adorable? Fully covered. We're going to take our stamp set out. And I'm going to create a closure with this circle here. So I'm going to take this circle image and I'm going to put this on an acrylic block. I'm going to take some white cardstock. Let me zoom in. And I'm going to stamp this circle. Lovely. After we have this done, I'm going to go ahead and in our stamp set there is February 14th. I'm going to take that, put it on an acrylic block, and I'm going to stamp February 14th right in the middle with some red ink. Like so. And there are little hearts in here. I think I'm going to fill in those little hearts with a red marker. Went ahead and die cut out a few circles, including my stamp sentiment. Instead of die cutting out an extra circle, what I did was die cut out some foam. This is adhesive backed foam. And then I also cut out a couple circles using some of our pattern paper. This is the Candy Crush, and then this one here is the Valentine Floral. And these are going to all layer perfectly together. This is just white cardstock. I wanted some extra heavy-duty cardstock for our closure. Okay, I'm going to take my box. This is going to go right in the middle of my box. And rather than using my tape runner, I'm going to use some glue. And the nice thing about glue is you have a little bit of wiggle room. And then I'll take that white circle and we're going to add some glue behind here. And we're going to sandwich this behind the circle that we just created on the inside of the box. What this is going to do is just keep it looking clean. Creates a really fun box that opens and closes. If you want to decorate the inside, you can. But now we need some cards to go in the box. To create my first card, we're going to create a landscape style card. And we're using this cut apart. I love candy hearts. Don't like the taste of them, but I love the candy hearts. I'm going to trim about 1/4 of an inch off the top of this cut apart. I went ahead and trimmed the left and right, so it's 5.5 inches. And then I trimmed down a 1-inch strip by 5.5 inch strip of the reverse side of our cut aparts. Okay, we're going to go ahead and layer both of these together at the very bottom. I just want to make sure there's enough room. For a little texture, I'm going to bring in some ribbon, and we are going to add this. I'm going to tie a bow off to the right. Now we're going to bring in our sticker sheet. Lots of stickers, and I love dimension on cards, and so the stickers really help. We have quite a few candy hearts in here, and I'm going to use the larger ones. We're going to flip this around. I'm going to use some foam squares. Place a foam square behind the sticker, and then to remove the tackiness from the sticker, since we're going to pop it up, I'm just going to use my little bit of powder. It's the powder that I use for my embossing, and then I can remove the release paper, and I'm going to just place these back in their home on our panel here. So we have a sweetheart, we have the XOXO, wonderful, and then I have 2 circles that I cut out with the red and the pink pattern papers. In our sticker sheet, there's the February 14th. I'm going to take this and layer this on these circles here. I'm going to layer this on top of our pink circle, so we have a layer of circles. I'm going to flip this around. We're going to add some foam squares, and then that will finish off card number 1 using our cut apart. Pretty simple card, but really cute. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we're going to jump into our next card. For our next card, we're going to use this cut apart. I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and we're going to trim this down just a little bit. And I'm going to trim off the bottom here. Flip it around and trim the top off a little bit. Keeping my paper trimmer out, I'm going to take this panel. I'm going to mat this on some of our pink cardstock. We're just going to use the tape runner. I'm going to line it up just so a little bit of this pink is peeking out. And then I'll take the paper trimmer and even up the other edges. In our sticker sheet, we have the same love, which I love. We're going to take this. It's actually this sticker is actually 1 sticker. We're going to do a little bit of snipping. So using my scissors, we're going to snip apart each of these. Now, I'm going to take my scissors and fussy cut around the sticker, and we're going to remove all of the white around here. I fussy cut all of my stickers. I took the white basically out of my sticker. Okay, this way I can layer it on here for a little added dimension. I did use my anti-static powder tool and remove the tackiness from the sticker. I just tapped the back side. And then what we can do is add our foam adhesive. I did that to the rest of the letters already. And I did want to mention that if you do remove the white from your sticker, take a black marker and just go around your cut lines. What this does is just clean them up, and especially if we're going to put this against the black cardstock, you're not going to see any of that white area that we trimmed down. It just basically just cleans this up. And I did that to all of my letters also. Now is the fun part. I love dimension and layers. We're going to take our stickers and just remove the release paper. We're going to take our unsticked stickers and we are going to layer them over the existing one. And it's a little bit smaller, but this being a quilt pattern, I don't think we're going to be able to see that big of a difference. We're going to go ahead and reinforce that score line from our card base. And this is going to be a portrait style card. Make sure it opens the right way. I trimmed down a card front panel using our candy hearts here. I'm going to flip this around and we're going to take our adhesive. We're going to tack this down to the front of our card base, covering the entire card base. Now, using the same pink and red pattern paper from our previous card, I have a 2 1/4 inch wide strip that I fishtailed the bottom of, and then I did the same thing with the red. I fishtailed the bottom, and this is a 1 1/2 inch strip. We're going to layer both of these together. And then I'm going to place this almost about a 1/4 inch up from the bottom. And then last but not least, I took the 100% lovable sticker in our sticker sheet. It was right up here on top. I'm going to fishtail the end here. And I'm going to place this right across our O, and I like it overlapping on this side just a little bit. And that will finish off project number 2. And now we're going to start our next project. We're going to keep it really easy. For our final card today, I have our Love is in the Air cut apart. Let's bring in our paper trimmer. And I'm going to trim a little bit off of the right, flip it around, and I'm going to trim a little bit off the left. In our sticker sheet, we have a coordinating balloon. I'm going to take this along with a border. I want to put a little bit of a scalloped edge on one side. So I'm going to trim down just a portion of this, like so. And I'm also going to take the Sending My Love. I already popped this up with some foam tape. What we're going to do is take our sticker. I'm going to use my anti-static powder and go over the back. I put foam tape behind our hot air balloon, and now we're going to put this right over the hot air balloon on our cut apart here. Put it right over the center. I went ahead and removed the tackiness off of our border strip, and I'm going to remove the release paper off of the back of just partially. Since we peeled away a portion of our adhesive, I'm going to lay this right side up, remove some of that powder, and I'm going to tack this down on the right, well, just so a little bit of it's peeking out on the, tack this down so a little bit's peeking out on the right side here. And I want to put my sentiment here, but I think it's just a little too big. So I'm going to change this one out for the sticker that says I adore you. I already put some foam adhesive behind it, and we're going to place this just over our balloon right here, making sure it's centered. I have our pink pattern paper. This actually has music notes on here, which is really pretty. I'm going to flip this around and use my tape runner and adhere a card front panel to my card base. So this is going to cover the entire card base. It's 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. And then I trimmed down a slightly smaller piece of pattern paper using our sentiment strips. The cupcakes are on the reverse side. I'm going to tack this down to our card base as well. I'm going to use my corner rounder. I'm going to round this corner. I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side here. And then I'm going to remove my release paper. add a little bit more to this side. And then we're going to tack this down right in the middle. And that will complete this card. And that will complete our projects today with the 12 by 12 collection kit from Photoplay. It's called Cupid's Sweetheart Cafe. Such a fun collection kit. And it's so easy to create a card box. And I love that it comes with 3 card bases and 3 card envelopes. Thanks so much for stopping by. We will see you again real soon.